The day begins in silence. Not with noise or pressure, but with light, gentle and gold, stretching across the horizon like a soft breath. The ocean greets the morning with waves that don't rush, and in that calm rhythm, a question begins to rise. Are you tired? Not just tired in your body, but in that deeper, invisible place within you. A quiet exhaustion, as if you've been swimming upstream through a current that never gives. You press forward every day, trying to meet expectations, manage time, hold everything together. And while you move through it all with strength, something inside you whispers, "This is not sustainable." We're taught to live like warriors, to fight for every inch of progress, to battle through each hour with clenched fists and scheduled steps. We treat peace like a reward that only comes after a long struggle. And for a while, it might even seem like this works. But eventually, even the strongest arms get tired from rowing against the flow. There's a weight that comes with always trying to control everything. A silent heaviness that builds beneath the surface of our lives. We hold on tightly, because we believe that if we let go, even for a moment, everything might collapse. So we keep forcing, keep fighting, not realizing that the effort itself might be what's holding us back. And still, the question lingers. Are all these battles necessary? Must life be a war, a competition, a project to master? Or is it something else entirely? What if life isn't something to win, but something to join? What if it's not a mountain to conquer, but a river to float within? The ancient Taoists had a word for this, Wu Wei. It translates to non-action, but not in the way we usually think. It's not laziness or passivity. It's effortless alignment. It's choosing to act in flow with the natural rhythm of life instead of constantly pushing against it. Alan Watts, who spent his life helping the modern world understand ancient wisdom, described Wu Wei as the art of dancing with the universe instead of wrestling with it. And maybe you've experienced this without knowing, in those moments when you were deeply absorbed, writing, creating, walking, speaking from the heart, and everything felt seamless. You weren't thinking, you weren't forcing, you were just being, and things happened with grace. That's Wu Wei. Not standing still, but moving with ease. Not surrendering your agency, but releasing your resistance. Imagine a surfer riding a wave. They don't fight the ocean. They rise with it, balance on it, let it carry them. Their gift isn't power, it's trust. That's what this wisdom invites us into. A life led by cooperation, not domination. As Alan Watts said, "When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float." There's a kind of magic in this, not because it's mystical, but because it's true. The more we try to grip and control the moment, the more it slips through our fingers. But when we soften, when we float, we find ourselves supported by something deeper. This isn't giving up. This is choosing to trust, to rest in the understanding that some forces are bigger than us, and that peace often comes not by fighting harder, but by stepping back and allowing. And sometimes the more we struggle, the more tangled we become. Like trying to clear muddy water by stirring it. We only make it murkier. But leave it alone, and slowly, it clears. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone, Alan Watts reminds us. And perhaps our lives are like that too. Perhaps clarity comes not from constant effort, but from stillness, from patience, from learning to let things settle on their own. Because peace, after all, isn't something we wrestle into being. It's what remains when we finally stop fighting. Sometimes the most intelligent thing we can do is to stop interfering. When we cease our mental scrambling, trying to force answers, control people, shape the future, solutions often rise naturally from the depths. Like sediment settling at the bottom of a disturbed pond, the water becomes clear, not through effort, but through stillness. Think of the old Chinese finger trap. You place a finger in each end, and instinctively, you pull to get free. But the harder you pull, the tighter it grips. Freedom only comes by leaning in, by softening. It feels unnatural, yet it's precisely this reversal that reveals the trap for what it is. And isn't that the case with many of our own struggles? The more we resist, the more entangled we become. But when we pause, when we loosen our grip, life has a strange way of unknotting itself. You've likely felt this too. Perhaps there was a time you desperately tried to remember a name or solve a problem, and no matter how hard you strained, the answer stayed hidden. Eventually, you gave up. You walked away, distracted yourself, and then, suddenly, quietly, it appeared. The answer. Like a shy bird that only returns when the forest is silent. There is a beautiful irony in this. When we stop chasing, what we're looking for often arrives. When we stop clutching for control, life begins to breathe on its own. It unfolds with its own rhythm, its own intelligence, and in ways we never could have orchestrated ourselves. Life, after all, is not static. It is movement, transition, a continuous unfolding of what was into what is. Every moment melts into the next like a river's flow. Seasons change. Leaves fall not with protest but with grace. The trees don't panic. The clouds don't resist the wind. All things in nature surrender to movement, because movement is life. But we, in our fear, try to freeze what we love. We hold on. We fixate. We demand things remain as they are. And in doing so, we resist the very essence of being alive. Yet if we welcome change as a partner instead of an enemy, something shifts. We move with life instead of bracing against it. We become collaborators with reality. Alan Watts put it this way: the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. To live fully, we must join that dance. Let go of rigid steps and let the music lead. And in that dance, change becomes less like a threat and more like a rhythm, something to move with, not run from. By flowing with what comes, we find a freedom far greater than the illusion of control ever gave us. The freedom to respond to life with grace, not tension. To be moved, rather than always moving. And here's another quiet truth. There is tremendous relief in simply being present, not stuck in past regrets, not obsessed with future outcomes, but here, now, where breath happens, where life actually lives. So much of our frantic energy to control comes from our mind wandering, reliving what was or anticipating what might be. But reality is always in this breath, in this heartbeat. Notice it, the way your lungs expand without instruction, the way the wind touches your skin without needing to be understood. Life is doing so much on your behalf without your direction. And when you return to this moment, fully, your fears shrink, your burdens lift. Because most of your suffering doesn't live in the now. It lives in the shadows of yesterday and the projections of tomorrow. But right now, you are okay. You are breathing. You are enough. There is nothing you need to fix in this exact moment. Just be here. That is clarity. That is power. And as you release the need to orchestrate everything, you begin to sense a deeper intelligence moving beneath the surface of your life. The same force that directs the tides and spins the planets is also within you. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are not a stranger to the order of nature. You don't need to tell your heart to beat or remind the sun to rise. Life knows how to live through you. When you unclench, when you stop micromanaging every detail, what you need often finds its way to you. Intuition awakens, creativity flows, things fall into place, not because you forced them, but because you finally gave them space to do so. And perhaps it's not that the universe is suddenly helping you. Perhaps it always was. And now, for the first time, you're helping it. Remember when you were a child? Before fear had a voice, before control was a reflex, you played without hesitation. You cried when you needed to, laughed when you felt joy, moved with life without analyzing every step. That part of you is still there, waiting patiently behind all your plans and expectations. And when you stop scripting every chapter of your story, you return to that natural state, where surprise is delight, and not knowing what's next feels like a promise, not a threat. You begin to move lightly again, to dance instead of march, to trust without needing a reason. And in that space, the unknown becomes sacred, not something to be solved, but something to be lived. Letting go of control isn't weakness, it's intelligence. It's the wisdom of the sailor who adjusts their sails, not to defy the wind, but to dance with it. They may not reach the exact destination they mapped out, but they often find themselves somewhere better, a place they would never have imagined if they clung too tightly to the original course. That's what happens when we release rigid expectations. New doors appear, old ones close, sometimes painfully. But later we see the truth. The closed door wasn't a punishment. It was a redirection. Life's current doesn't always take us where we want to go, but more often than not, it leads us where we need to be. Still, we hesitate. We hold tight. Why? Because beneath our striving, there is fear. Fear that if we loosen our grip, everything will collapse. But what if clinging is the very thing causing the collapse? Try holding a handful of sand in a clenched fist. It escapes. Now, open your palm. It stays. An open hand holds more, just as an open mind receives more, and a softened heart allows life to enter, where a rigid heart shuts it out. Letting go is not giving up. It's courage. It's trusting that the ground will still hold you even if you stop stomping your feet. This doesn't mean you stop showing up for life. You still tend your garden. You still water, still care. But you know you can't pull the petals from a bud to make it bloom faster. Growth comes in its own season. Like the gardener, you do what you can, and then you step back. You allow. That simple act of stepping back is where softness begins to grow. You notice your breath again. Your shoulders fall away from your ears. Anxiety slowly loosens its grip. In its place, a quiet confidence rises. A sense that maybe, just maybe, you don't need to control everything for things to be okay. You begin to walk lighter, pause longer, see more clearly. And in the stillness, you catch the little miracles you used to rush past. The conversation that comes at just the right time. The opportunity that shows up when you stop chasing. The beauty that's been there all along waiting for you to finally slow down. As night gives way to dawn, so too can your old way of living, the one rooted in resistance, give way to a new way of flowing. What if you woke up each morning without the weight of control pressing on your chest? What if, instead of preparing for battle, you prepared to listen, to receive, to move in rhythm with the world, rather than against it? That's the shift. When you stop forcing life, you don't necessarily change the events around you. You change the way you meet them. And that changes everything. It's the same world. But now, your eyes see differently. That traffic jam, now it's a moment to breathe. That missed opportunity, now it's a redirection, not a failure. The story you thought had ended, now it's just a twist before the next chapter. When you stop fighting life, you realize life was never fighting you. It was inviting you, all along, to dance, to trust, to be a part of something wider, deeper, kinder. And yes, storms will still come, but you will face them with grounded peace. Not with resistance, but with presence. You'll stop trying to push the river and learn to ride it. You'll stop gripping each moment and start greeting each one as it arrives. That's balance. That's what it means to live in flow. So now, breathe. Feel the gift of this moment, not the one you wish you had, not the one you fear is coming, but this one, the one where your lungs are filling, the one where the sun still rises, the one where you're held by something ancient and invisible. That's life. It's been carrying you this whole time. The art of letting go isn't a destination, it's a practice, a way of remembering what you already knew before the world told you to forget. And each time you come back to it, each time you trust again, life meets you with more than you could have planned. Let your day begin not with strain, but with trust. Let your next step be light. Let your breath be deep and easy. Let this moment be enough. Because when you stop forcing, you discover something profound. Letting go doesn't leave you with less. It gives you more than you ever imagined. And in that surrender, life doesn't end. It begins. If this reflection stirred something in you, a shift in perspective, a deeper breath, a clearer heart, don't keep it to yourself. Here at Tiptop Tidbits, we explore the small truths that hold great meaning, ideas that don't shout, but stay with you. If you're someone who seeks more than just answers, who values wonder, awareness, and wisdom, you've found the right place. Subscribe now and walk this path with us. Because transformation isn't a lightning strike. It's a quiet return, a thought, a breath, a journey we take together. Tiptop Tidbits, where stillness speaks.